Okay, welcome back to our part 2 of how to roam as a mid laner. For those of you who missed part 1, it is linked in the comments below. With that said, let's dive in. Okay, in this clip, this is actually not the third wave. This clip didn't fit nicely in, but I just want to show you guys that you should always be roaming, right? So this is late 3 minutes into the game, but I'm still going to roam. So in its same exact concept, it's clear and roam. Okay, so I clear the wave and I see bots pushing, they're kind of overextending, so I'm going to come and get damage on them. And here, another thing I want you to notice why this is a good clip is I get really good damage on them, right? So if you look at the enemies, I got both of them below 50%. They were basically full when I got there. My laners took almost no damage. Notice my Alice is just taking damage now. Our Val didn't even come to help us. If he did, we probably would have got kills. But anyways, health is it is valuable if you chunk people down. That is a successful roam. I'm very happy with this roam because now my bot lane is at a huge advantage because they're way ahead in health. So we don't get the kill here, but we do chunk down the enemy and then we head back to our lane. Okay, so you want to always start strong. So basically I've showed you the basic concepts, and now I'm going to just show you the first couple minutes of 2 different games. So in this game, once again, we secure the brush DS side because that's where our jungler is and nobody else is checking the jungle at all. And if I can control one bush, I want to control the bush where my jungler is because I don't want to lose the buff and my jungler give over first blood. I'd rather just lose the red buff and my jungler be alive and get his blue buff. So do that, I take it, and then we're going to go check the jungle. I kind of mess up clearing the wave there. But anyway, Severe's over there. We see Arthur, we turn around, right? Okay, cool. I got vision on 2 enemies. That's already successful. Now I know what I can do for my second wave, right? So my first clear, I just got intel. I didn't steal like in some of the other clips, but we got intel. And what we're going to do is we're going to go back red because I didn't get to see if the jungler was starting red, right? I didn't get to see the enemy jungler, so I'm going to go figure it out. So again, clear, I'm controlling the brush better. I see everything's happening, right? I see the minion. Oh, he's starting red. So now what am I going to do? I'm just going to sit there. I'm in no hurry. The wave, if you notice, is just about to hit mid lane, and I'm going to try to steal this. So waiting, trying to time it out. And unfortunately, I missed the timing. But if you notice, I chunked down the enemy jungler significantly. So the Quillen's all the way down below half health. And I am pinging. Unfortunately, my DS laner is not paying attention and still gets killed by the Quillen even though I had eyes on him that entire time in the jungle. So if your team gives you vision of the enemy jungler at his or her second buff, they are going to come gank you, so be careful. Don't overextend. If you see the enemy jungler is on your side of the map for their second buff, believe me, they're coming to gank you, so kind of tone it down. So now what happens for the third is I'm coming and I want to control dragon side again, right? So we see the enemy jungler and the mid, our minions caught them, so we're going to roam down. Cool, we get 2 kills, and then I'm just going to set up for them to counter roam. So like I said, they're always trapped behind you. So when they're trapped behind you, that's your opportunity to just kind of keep your team safe and do things. So bam, we get the kill on the mid, get the kill there. So 4 kills, okay? So that is kind of how it all plays together, wave by wave. So clear the wave, check the jungle, clear the wave, check the jungle again, try to steal buffs or monsters, aka harass the enemy jungler, and then just keeping vision and then roaming for a gank. So if you put all these concepts together, you are going to have really nice payoffs, and you should see a major difference in how effective you are at carrying games as a mid laner. Here we are at the final clip of the video. So here we clear the first wave, we're controlling the dragon bush. I checked the jungle monster there because I am pushed up and I have an advantage on the minion wave. So I'm still looking at it, poking at Ignis. I see the enemy jungler starts it, and I'm just kind of peeking in on him. Once again, I'm giving him pressure. Something to take away from that is even if you don't hit the monster, even if you don't hit the enemy jungler, it's still making them reposition. It's taking seconds off their clear time, and it also might reset the minion. If that Lubu pulls the minion incorrectly, it is going to reset, and it's going to cost him a lot more time. But anyways, I go there. I still want to see what he's doing, so I can back, check on the red buff. The red buff is already down. Okay, we just see that small camp down, and at this point I'm thinking, where's Lubu? Where's Lubu? Is he in there? No, he's not in there. Okay, so I want to pause here. So right now, this is weird. Okay, we saw him clear that small camp. we saw the other small camp just die. The buff is already down. So what I know at this point is I know he started red buff, okay? Then he went from the small buff towards mid to the small buff towards the dragon lane, right? Just because of the order of death. So I know he didn't go to blue buff, right? If he went to blue buff, that small camp towards dragon side still would have been alive. So at this point, this is very weird to me because he should be setting up a gank, right? But he's not in the bush either. My laners also checked the other bush, so where is Lubu? Well, most likely he's invading. This is a very common pattern for people to invade. So if you notice our Quillen right now on the minimap, you can see that he's about to go to his blue buff, and so I'm watching that, and I'm kind of, I want to see if it's there or if Lubu's there, and if it is, then I'm going to cut back onto him. So we're checking, my team group's up, which is awesome, and bam. Blue buff is missing, Lubu has to be somewhere, and then you notice he pops out on the jungle, but unfortunately for him, he pops out into 3 of us, and he is going to give first blood over to our Violet. So that is something where information really, really matters. Controlling information matters a lot. If you can see, if you get good vision on the enemy jungler, and you can kind of map out his clearing route, you can control his options. You can be ready before he can. So for this, if you notice, I've been away from lane quite a while, so the cost of this is that I am giving up personal gold out of my pocket. I could have had more, the Quillen goes over to the lane too, but if you notice, I only missed 1 minion out of that wave, but these things do add up. So you're thinking to yourself, is it worth it? And that's kind of the question you need to keep asking yourself. Once again, we knew he started red buff first, so at around 2:15, it's going to be respawning. That's a very common timer also. So I'm like, okay, it's respawning about this time, cleared the wave, let's go steal the buff, right? So ping to my team, start red. Once again, if you notice my mid wave, it's pushing into my tower now, okay? So people, when they roam, really worry about losing their wave and gold from that. So if you notice, I go get that, and I still make it back to get that last, but I did miss 2 minion deaths. And the reason that I bring this up, and I think this is a great point, is look at the gold, right? I am the lowest in the game, okay? But the second lowest is the enemy jungler, and he's only 6 gold ahead of me. But here's the big point. Because of my sacrifice, because of the point that I emphasize control, and that I emphasize stealing and making the enemy jungler's life very hard, look at our Violet. She's at 1,720 gold, so she is about 500 gold above anybody else, right? So, and that's anybody who knows you want your Violet to get ahead like that. If your Violet gets ahead like that, she will carry the game. So basically for me, the way that this game played out is I was given the opportunity to get my Violet very fed and carry the game, but it was going to cost me some gold here and there. So I'm happy to give that up. So I'm about 300 gold behind my laner, but that laner is about 500 gold behind my my Violet. So I'm very happy with that. So at this point, same thing, we're back to clearing waves. If you notice, the team is roaming because now Violet's feeling confident. The enemy jungler is probably just absolutely pissed. That's a bad play. He shouldn't have done that. But you can understand how he feels, right? At this point, he has got no buff, right? So his first buff he killed, but his second buff he lost to us. He didn't even go to get his other side's buff, and he got killed as soon as he stole our buff. So we're going to end here. We get damage on this tower, get out. But the main point I was trying to make to close is if you are in the jungler's face like that, it tilts them. I promise you it tilts them. You've seen it when you have that jungler on your team and they just start screaming at the enemy team like, the enemy team is in my jungle. Why doesn't anybody help me? Why don't you do anything? Okay, GG, right? Like, I can't do anything. I'm not getting farmed. I'm not getting help. All you were just letting them come steal my jungle. So when you were the enemy, that's what you're trying to cause the jungler to do. You want to tilt them. You want to upset them. And how do you do that? You do all the things that I showed you in this video. You out-rotate them. When they go to rotate to gank, you are there so that the fight is even. When they're in their jungle, you don't let them take anything easy. They can't even sit there and just auto-attack a small camp and swipe their camera around because you're waiting there with skills to steal their buff, to steal their last hits on those monsters, right? So anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please let me know in the comments, and I can do it for the other lanes like support, jungler, DS laner, etc. But anyways, as always, I hope you all have an outstanding day and take care.